we have an official, unofficial opening roster. That's how things start on It's Always Game Day in Cleveland. It's the 53-man initial roster release. I can feel your excitement just through the radio or through YouTube. If you're watching us, we are so excited that you're a part of this. And man, it's just a special, it's like having a baby. It really is. This reminds me of the birth of our first two children. Let me tell you, it is always Game Day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We are brought to you by Bryant and Smiley One. That's right, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. Bryant and Smiley One, or Smiley One and Bryant. Any way you want to look at it, they're a great team together. Daryl, congratulations. It's a 53-man.
I was wondering where you were going with that. But yes, we have.
So what happened was in my mind, and I'll just go behind the curtain. I was trying to, I just wanted to make sure I said initial 53-man roster, and then I just started BSing my way out of the beginning of the show. Let's be honest. It's a podcast. It doesn't really matter.
Let me guess. You were about to say final, and then you realized you were about to be scolded by me.
No, the word final was nowhere near, because we have 4 quarterbacks. For a team that traditionally keeps 2 to start the season, I have a million thoughts on carrying 4 quarterbacks out of the gate. Let's have the reality check from Daryl Ryder first.
Andrew Berry must really, really need another 6th-round draft pick. I don't know what you get for any of these.
I totally agree with what you're saying right now. Keep going.
I mean, I think they have like 5 6th-round picks next year anyway, and that's not hyperbole. I think they literally have like 4 or 5 6th-round picks next year. But that's what you're going to get for Tyler Huntley. I can't see them trading Jameis Winston because I just feel like that if something happens to Deshaun, they want somebody with experience that's been in the offense, that knows how to, you know what I mean? Like, he's the security blanket. So I can't see them trading Jameis Winston. And he's the guy you'd get the most for. And again, I don't even know what his value would be. But like Tyler Huntley, maybe a 6. I don't know. Maybe you trade him in a 7th-round pick to get a 6th or so. I don't know what the whole purpose is of wasting this kind of time. Now, the good news is...
I have 2 things, but keep going. I'm listening.
The good news is, like, in all reality, while I make fun of the fact that they kept 4 quarterbacks, and as we record this on a Wednesday evening, they still have 4 quarterbacks. They practiced 4 guys on Tuesday after the initial 53 came out, and the 4 guys were on the field Wednesday afternoon as well. But, like, Barry is clearly trying to call someone's bluff, right? And I can't really think of like a team that is desperate for a quarterback right now. So the good news is I think that the Browns are well-rounded and deep enough to where they can afford to, I don't want to say waste a roster spot because that's not fair, but I feel like they can afford to just use a roster spot on that additional quarterback. And then if somebody gets dumb and desperate enough to call Andrew Berry to offer a draft pick for one of these guys, then obviously Andrew's ready to pounce. But the thing does amuse me because there's so many people on social media right now clutching their pearls over the fact that the Browns currently have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. So I kind of want them to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster just to mess with those people and have them lose their collective minds for the next, week or so.
Okay. 2 or 3 things. 1, the next time you wear your Captain America shirt, please let me know and I will wear mine. So we can both do that simultaneously. Or I'll wear a Marvel shirt. So we'll be copacetic. When it comes to this Brown situation and the quarterback, I agree with you. Like, why are we holding on to 4 quarterbacks? But when you see that everybody they released got picked up by no one, and they were able to put all those guys through, Andrew Berry was right on whatever his thoughts were. On where they were going. The one player that maybe we're talking about that you could be worried about landing somewhere else is Deonta Foreman, right? And so that's the one guy, but he's released. You can bring him back. Doesn't matter what you do. So just offer him money and he's going to come back. I just don't.
Why didn't they just add him to the practice? Well, he might not be eligible for the practice.
He's not. Well, I don't know that he's not eligible. I just know that they didn't have to put him there. Why would you, if you just say to him, hey, wait a couple days, we'll give you because they got 200,000 or whatever.
They got 4 practice slots available.
I
They signed 13 guys.
Maybe he's
One of
not.
those
Maybe
is
you're right. Maybe he's just not eligible, or
Yeah.
maybe he's like, I don't want to be on the practice squad. I'll come back if you offer me, but
Right.
I'm going to be a free agent. You made me a free agent, so
Yeah.
if I was his agent, I don't know if I'm him, I'm doing that, but if I'm his agent, I'm doing that. But my bigger question then, Daryl, is maybe they held on to 4 because they thought Deshaun Watson, that general soreness or 5-star general soreness in his shoulder, right, isn't able to lead the march the army up the hill, and they think that he may not be able to come back for 1, 2, or 3 games. I don't think it's true.
You got 2 other guys though.
What?
You've got Jameis Winston and DTR.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if I think it's more about that Andrew Berry.
Well, maybe you're thinking about sitting him out because remember the NFLPA last week.
He's been practicing. Watson,
or maybe they're prepared for him to be. They don't want to get caught in the same spot they were in last year against the Ravens. Is that a possibility?
I think Andrew
DTR found out 45 minutes before the game he was playing.
I know, and DTR also didn't know the playbook when he was told he was playing.
Is that what happened when he said hike and no one moved? Thought that was interesting. Hut, hike. Go, guys, go. Meanwhile, the crowd's DTR. Oh, I can't. They couldn't hear me. That's what the problem was. They were yelling too loud.
No, I don't think that was the problem in that game.
I'm just checking.
But
is there any way that he's hurt? That's my question.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, he's looked to take the normal reps. Now, granted, we are now in regular season mode, so they kick us out after 20 minutes. We get to see him stretch, which gives us
awesome is that stretching? Man, you are Daryl. Do you understand?
I think the Browns are the league
you should pay. You should pay the Browns to let you watch them stretch.
Don't give them any ideas. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I almost said something that would have really gotten me in some trouble. I'm glad I did.
Okay, I'm still worried about the county that doesn't realize that Brook Park's in Cuyahoga County. But keep going. Sorry.
I was going to say.
For those of you listening only, Daryl is cracking up on screen.
What are the odds I'd be allowed to expense that on a monthly basis?
Don't get fired. Stop.
But I honestly think that Andrew Berry just desperately wants an extra draft pick. I think that's what this is all coming down to.
Are we really hanging on to a 4th quarterback so he can pick up a 7th round pick?
Andrew Berry traded Cade York for a 7th round pick. So yes.
And so at what point is he going to have to drop one of these quarterbacks?
I know you had to pause because you thought for a second I was being a smart ass, and then you
were right. What do you get for Josh Dobbs? A 5th, right?
No. Did he get a 5 for Dobbs?
I think he got a 5th for Josh Dobbs.
Wow, that's impressive. So yeah, I think that's what it's about. He wants another draft pick, another draft asset, and he's not just going to cut one because he's convinced the moment he cuts Tyler Huntley's going to sign somewhere. And so Andrew Berry's saying to himself, well, if you want Tyler Huntley, you're going to have to give me something for him. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep we'll keep that asset as long as we possibly can. And when you look at the current 53, Andy, what spot are they like deficient in, or to the part like whose job is Tyler Huntley taking right now?
No, that's a great point. I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have an honest conversation about that. Is like
Javion Cohn? Who's the 53rd man on the roster? Is it David Bell?
I think maybe like Jamari Thrash. By the way, we got to talk about him later.
I don't want to hear anything bad about Jamari Thrash. I like him.
No. His response today. Okay, so
I didn't hear the press conference, so go ahead.
So he told us today he was surprised he made the 53. Not in like a bad way, but just as in like just achieving that goal.
He's excited. He's excited.
Yeah, he was pleasantly surprised to learn that he was on the initial 53. And I'm going to say, dude, you were drafted this year. You were assured a roster spot. Because that's kind of
not know Andrew Berry? So you should have said, you could have been drafted in the 12th round, which doesn't exist. But if you were drafted by Andrew, you at least got 1 year out of you. Hold that thought, because I want to hear more about what they had to say today, and I want to talk more about this roster. So it's always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. We're back right after this. It is always game day in Cleveland. He is Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin, brought to you by Smiley One and Bryant, Northeast Ohio's premier heating and cooling solution. All right, Daryl, so you were talking about Jamari Thrash and how surprised he was when he found out he made the team. I like watching him play. I think he's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, he is an intriguing young player. I always tread lightly when it comes to young Browns wide receivers drafted by Andrew Berry, just because, well, the history is the history.
The good news is, though, he wasn't drafted in the 3rd round. He was drafted in the 5th, so it's got that going for him.
Which is nice. But, the Browns did bring back Jalen Darden, James Prochet, and Michael Woods, the second, to the practice squad. So they got 3 of those receivers that they had cut on Tuesday back. And I think you mentioned this earlier. The Browns did not lose any players on the waiver wire from Tuesday's cut down. They also were not awarded any players on the waiver wire league-wide from the cut down. Keep in mind now, the Browns are 23rd in waiver claim priority. So they've got 22 teams sitting in front of them. I would be shocked if Andrew Berry did not place a claim on somebody. And it just so happens to be they didn't get them because one of the 22 teams in front of them went ahead and was awarded that. But that's based.
Let me throw a name at you real quick here. Donovan Peoples-Jones was released.
Yeah, I would just say that he was traded to the Lions, if I remember correctly.
Correctly, yes, correct.
And I think he was a 5 too. Didn't they get a 5 for him?
Let me look. For sure, Dobbs was a 5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know that they have room for DPJ.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they have room for him.
Well, I mean, they'd have to give up on one of the other 2 guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are pretty well committed to the young guys that they currently have, and they need to get those guys not only reps in practice, but maybe get them some reps in games too, get them some touches in games. So I don't think that there's any room for DPJ to come back.
He was a 6th-round pick.
He was a 6th-round pick. I was close.
I mean, he was traded for a 6th round.
Oh, that's one of the 12 6th-round picks the Browns have now.
I got to tell you, you want a 6th-round pick? Come on down to Crazy Andrews. Prices are insane. You give us a player, and we'll give you a player, in fact, and then you give us a 6th-round pick. Our prices are insane.
I don't think you sold that the way you intended to.
No, on the radio, I sell it way better. Sorry.
I think
I don't have the podcast panache.
I was going to say,
I'm thinking
today there are things coming out of your mouth that sounded better in your head before the process.
That was the 4-hour show we did today too on the air. So,
it sounded really good in my head. I swear.
All right, let's look at the rest of the Browns roster. Offensive line, it's settled, right? Jed Wills is penciled in as a starter. Jack Conklin is penciled in on the right side, and Jed is on the left side. But if Jed didn't practice, I'm just saying, if you look at the hard initial 53-man roster,
Jack's on the left side right now. That's the news for you.
100%.
Well, he's on the left side until Jed comes back.
Why wouldn't they put DeJuan Jones over there?
Because you're trying to develop him and bring his skill set along. So
is he going to play right?
Don't fix what ain't broke. And also, too, Jack Conklin has experience playing some left tackle. Mm-hmm. We talked to him on Tuesday, and he mentioned how he played some left tackle in college, so it's not really a foreign concept to him. So just judging by some of the individual stuff that we've seen, it looks like they're preparing Jack Conklin to hold the fort down until Jed Wills comes back. And
until he comes back.
Well, hey, if it goes well, if Jack goes in there and he plays really, really well, I don't know why you would mess with it, right?
No, I agree. But do you agree with the principle on this that, once DeJuan Jones moves up into his spot, ain't nobody's knocking him out? Do you believe in that theory? I've heard that theory. I believe that theory, to be honest.
You mean moving him to the left side? And then
no matter when he goes up, whether it's right, left, or at center, I don't care. Yeah. Whenever they find the spot for him, he's not leaving that spot.
Well, they found the spot for him.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, once he moves into that right tackle spot, he's not going anywhere. Yeah. Although
I think that they're very happy with him at right tackle. And
Okay.
that's why I kind of feel like that it might be why they're not even sweating Jed Wills right now, because they're like, hey, Jack's practicing. Now, he didn't practice on Wednesday, but that was just part of this, ramp up, get him back into the flow or whatever. We'll see a week from today, as we record this on a Wednesday, a week from today will be the first injury report of the season, the first official injury report of the season. The Browns are not obligated to comment on or address any injuries whatsoever until next Wednesday. But I kind of feel like that Conklin, they knew all along, right? It is similar to the belly aching over Deshaun not playing in the preseason. Yes, Deshaun needed snaps, no question about it, but you're not putting your $46 million franchise quarterback at risk when you don't have a left tackle to protect him in the preseason game that you're 100% confident in, right?
Right.
So, in the back of their minds, I think that they said, well, Jack's going to be back in time for Dallas, so we're fine. Let's just get Deshaun all the work that he needs during practice, and then we'll deal with the consequences, whatever those end up being as the result of him not playing in the preseason.
All right, let's go back. I just do want to talk about wide receivers for a second, because we kind of dabbled in that, but we didn't go complete all in on that. So as we look at that initial 53, excuse me, where do you think David Bell then and Jamari Thrash, after you said he talked today, are they on thin ice as we head towards?
No, they're just 5 and 6 on the depth chart.
Okay. But if you think he sees another wide receiver out there, will they boot one of them?
I don't think so, because I feel like that if they were going to move on from David Bell, Andy, I think that they would have done that on Tuesday. So the fact that Bell made the initial roster, I think, is a good sign for him. Now, that's not to say that he won't be cut at any point throughout the season, right? I kind of feel like he's just going to have to perform when he gets his opportunities. But if they wanted to move on from him, they would have. Okay. They almost moved on from Mike Woods by cutting him. Luckily, nobody claimed him on waivers, so they were able to get him back on the practice squad, right?
Right.
So, and Mike Woods had a pretty good preseason, especially that preseason finale.
Right.
Caught a couple of touchdowns in that preseason finale. So, I feel like that they are, I don't want to say content, because Andrew Berry's never content, but I think that they're comfortable. That's the word I was looking for. They're comfortable with their wide receiver core that they have.
All right, let's I want to talk about the running back spot, because now you're just sitting with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong. Is that I can't believe that's what it's going to look like when the season starts against Dallas.
I can.
Just the two of them?
It wouldn't shock me. No, I'm not saying that they won't sign someone or trade for someone or whatever, but like I could absolutely see that being the case. Look, they're not going to run the ball a lot. Breaking news for people.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to run the ball a lot. I think they're going to run it in select situations, short yardage situations, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to your point earlier that you made in the podcast about Dante Foreman, maybe he is the guy that's going to take Tyler Huntley's roster spot once they trade him. Okay. Once they can, once Andrew Berry can, pretty please, will you take Tyler Huntley for a 6th round pick? Maybe Foreman is the guy that's in waiting for that particular roster spot, and then you get your third running back. I mean, keep in mind, Andy, they're going into the regular season, and remember, Kevin Stefanski's coach tight end, right?
Right.
He loves his tight ends. They only got 2.
They could pick up another tight end rather than a running back. Yeah, that makes sense, Daryl.
So
here's what I want you to do. I want you to do me.
They only kept 2 running backs.
Yeah, do me a favor. I want you to ask this next time. When's the next availability?
Well, we'll be out there Thursday, but I'm not sure who's all going to be available because it's get out of town day.
Right.
It's their 3-day Labor Day.
Is Kevin talking?
I don't know if he's going to. We talked to Kevin on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Kevin might be tired of talking to us for the week. So
probably. All right. So ask Kevin In a case, I just want one question. This is I've never asked you to ask a question. If you ever wanted me to ask a question,
by the way, this is 100% false. You have absolutely asked me to ask questions before.
oh, that is true. I have asked you. Yeah, I forgot. Never outside though. They're always inside when they're in the Browns facility. That's what I ask you to. When they're outside.
What question would you like asked? What question has you just being eaten up inside right now that you need an answer to?
All
And
right.
hang on, I need to get a pen and paper. I have this brain fog thing.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, real bad. You know what
Here's what I want you to do, Daryl. Get a pen.
I walked outside today without my cell phone.
Oh man.
I created a little thing to keep my phone cool because it kept overheating in the heat. I left that on the kitchen counter today. Like,
I'm disappointed in you.
All right, so I got the notepad.
Okay, he has his notepad if you're listening, and he has got a pen if you're listening on the Odyssey app. We appreciate you. Daryl, the question I want you to ask Kevin Stefanski at the next press availability is coming up here in a second after the break. We're going to take a break, then I'll tell you the question. You okay? You look very disappointed.
I
will tell you the question when we come back. It's always game day in Cleveland. Third and final segment of It's Always Game Day in Cleveland for, August 28th, and we're recording this. So whenever you're listening, we hope you enjoy it. The team had just put out their initial 53-man roster. When we last left you, much like all of you that are old enough to remember when there was no TV, I don't know if anybody's still around, but when there was no TV and people used to huddle around the radio and they would listen to the Shadow, and they would say, only the Shadow knows.
So you and Jeff Phelps.
No, my dad used to. So my dad literally would sit in the car and listen to XM and listen to these old radio shows before he passed away.
Thanks for totally blowing the joke there, by the way.
Oh, was that an age reference for me and Phelps?
That absolutely was.
Let me give you a piece of advice.
Let
me give you a huge piece of advice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Don't ever do that if you're co-hosting with Phelps. I'm just telling you. He won't talk to you for the rest of the show. I'm just telling you.
So what you're saying is I should do that in the very first segment.
No, don't. Not if it's the last time you ever want to do a show with him. I'm just being honest.
Are minivan jokes allowed?
What'd you say?
Are minivan jokes allowed?
Oh no, they're 100%. You can do that. You can make fun of my Hall of Fame stuff. You can make fun of me anyway.
By the way, we have to pause. Congratulations, Andy Baskin.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank all the
Hall of Famer Andy Baskin.
It's pretty exciting.
You got to tell the folks what Hall.
So this is interesting. I think people will find this interesting.
Yeah,
I'm being inducted. Don't you want the question first?
No, I totally veered the podcast into the ditch, and so jump in the minivan and get us the hell out of it by telling us what Hall of Fame are you being inducted.
It is the Cleveland Heights High School Hall of Fame. So
good for you.
So this is also interesting. Guess who was in my class?
Class of which year?
20. I'm class of 86, but the Hall of Fame class is 2024.
Gotcha. Okay.
Another Cleveland sports icon is going in with me.
Travis Kelce?
No, he's already in.
And
so is his brother.
Jason Kelsey's already in.
Ahmad Crump, Ahmad from the Cavaliers is also going in. I'm very excited. We just texted for a second last night after I saw that his name was on the list. It is amazing to me how people like me can get in. Bozo the Clown, Larry Harmon, the original Bozo the Clown on WGN TV.
If you got in, they clearly were running out of people, right?
No. You should see, I'm reading the bios of the other people that are in, like astrophysicists, doctor who cured some ailment for millions of people. All these famous
NFL
guy who started
players.
Overdrive, right? These guys are all in there. The Kelsey brothers, okay, they deserve their. I'm trying to think of other people.
And then there's Andy Baskin.
And then I'm like, schmuck who worked at Channel 5 for 10 years, right? I mean, come on.
Don't say
a lot of it was the person who nominated me was my doctor, and I was absolutely floored because we had a conversation last summer. Where it was really cool. Probably 5 years ago, I won an award from Kent State for Distinguished Citizen for the work that we do for cystic fibrosis in our annual golf tournament. And I mean, we've raised more than $3 million towards research and all that stuff. And so Kent State recognized that, and I invited him to the dinner that year, and so he came with us. And he goes. And he went to Benedictine, and he was talking about the Russo brothers, and they had been inducted, or he said they were in for some Benedictine Hall of Fame thing. And he goes, what was your Hall of Fame thing like? And I go, I'm not in the Heights Hall of Fame. Are you kidding? And so he was laughing about it, and we were just sitting on the deck. I go, no, someone's got to nominate you, and that's all I said. Well, then I got a call 3 months ago. My doctor nominated me.
Very
So
cool.
thank you, Doc Larry. I appreciate you. But the cool thing about it is to be in this Hall of Fame, you have to write a nomination letter without using the person's name. So it's all on on what you've done, and the majority of the letter that he wrote was based on the work that we've done for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, for Life Bank. They probably should put my wife in as much as they put me in. Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, A Special Wish, which I'm on the board for too, which I can't tell you enough good things about A Special Wish and what they do. And sometimes they get confused with Make-A-Wish, but A Special Wish is above and beyond. There used to be days when I was working at Channel 5 where I would leave Channel 5, or I would leave radio, go pick up pizzas in Tremont, take them to Rainbow, and then drop them, and then take the pizzas over to Rainbow, drop them off for families that were there for A Special Wish, and then go to Channel 5. I mean, the little things that A Special Wish does, if you've never heard of A Special Wish, or you wonder what they're about, or you want to volunteer for something, A Special Wish goes above and beyond for kids that, have terminally ill diseases. And it's not just the kid, it's the family. And they encompass the entire family, because, there's nothing easy for any of those folks that are dealing with Special Wish. So anyway, that's the whole background story on some of it. And I'll leave it here.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Daryl. I was going to ask the question.
Hang on. Let me get my pen.
All right, here you go. Get it back.
Hang on. Here we go. Got it.
Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. The question I want you to ask Kevin Stefanski.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your emergency running back if both your guys get hurt, if you only keep two?
Oh, I already know the answer.
Oh, you suck. What's the answer?
Elijah Moore.
It's 100%. Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Did you not watch last season and how well that worked?
Yeah. Thanks. 100%. And then who's the fullback?
I thought you were going to ask me who's your emergency quarterback.
No, that would be I'll tell you, that would be awesome. You should ask that. Well, listen, I was doing the podcast with Baskin. He wanted to know who the emergency running back was. I thought that was a really stupid question. So I wanted to ask you who the emergency quarterback is. You only have 4. So you better, I don't know, Joel Bitonio? I think he could probably do it, right?
Oh, no, he's the emergency left tackle, according to some people.
Who would be the emergency quarterback?
Tyler
now you
Huntley.
got me thinking.
Tyler Huntley.
Who played quarterback in high school? I think it's or high school or college. I don't know. I can't tell you.
These are problems the Browns currently do not have.
You know what I would love to see?
Tyler Huntley.
Jawan Jones play emergency quarterback. How awesome would that be?
How do I say this nicely? I think
no, but you know what? They could use him at fullback.
I think mobility could be an issue.
How about a fullback?
Oh yeah, like the
fridge.
Well, no, you know who the fullback would be? I think
who?
Nick Harris.
Oh yeah, he already was. I forgot.
Yeah, don't you see?
Yeah, Nick. I love Nick. I love when they bring him in at fullback. You know what was amazing is to see how Kevin Stefanski's changed since he first got here. Mm-hmm. He loved fullbacks when he first got here, and he loved tight ends. And now he only has 2 tight ends on the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's losing his grip.
He loved running backs, too. There's only 2 of those as well.
Yeah, what's he going to do? I still think it's interesting they kept more guys on the defensive ball.
He's gone 180. Didn't want to throw the ball to now he has to throw the ball, right? I mean, I think it's fair to say that there's been a little bit of a philosophical shift at 76 Lou Groza Boulevard when it comes to the offensive approach of the Cleveland Browns.
I think I also counted today. I think they have 13 guys, 11 if you don't count the special teamers, over 30 years old, which I think is another philosophical switch for this organization.
Well, they're trying to win now.
I mean, and Jeff and I talked about that, but I mean, it used to be Logan's Run, man. If you were over 30, you were toast, right? You were gone. You were going to.
I have a theory about that, but
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to be. I'm going to be responsible.
Well,
and I'm going to check.
What kind of dirty theory could you have on being a team that wanted to have players under 30? Maybe wanted to lose and get the first pick overall at one point. They wouldn't be the first team to do that.
I know, but I have a theory as to why there may be a shift in the whole age guardrails thing. But I want to check into it before I just put it out there into the ether.
You just put it in the ether. The ether is
I
wondering what your
did,
theory is.
but I didn't tell you what that theory is. So I want to check on it. I want to do the responsible thing. I'm going to check on it.
This is a podcast. There's nothing responsible in a podcast, is there?
Well,
this is where you get burned, is in a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You say something stupid, and then it ends up going out there.
And listen, like, we all know I say enough stupid stuff that I don't need to add to the. I don't need, I don't.
But even you, like looking at the Browns guardrails of players over 30, or making sure we get our own draft pick. Even you have changed over the 13 years we've been on the air. Even you have changed.
How?
I think that you're more tempered in your assessment and analysis of things. I've heard you go completely off the rails on stuff. It's been a while.
Well, that's because the team doesn't suck anymore.
That's true. When they sucked, you were all over them. True.
Right?
Before they had consistency in the front office. I'll give you that. I'll give you credit.
Like, I mean,
but you've matured. That's the part. Daryl has matured.
No, it's just there just isn't a lot to complain about these days.
There were times that Jeff and I would look at each other and be like, is Daryl going to get fired for saying that? You never did. So congratulations. Congratulations. And I was like, nah, they're going to make him pay to work here even longer. And you have survived.
We're going to give him a stern talking to.
We're going to give. Oh, buddy, you got to be kidding me. And you're not going to believe this. Our time is up.
I know. And you know what? And next podcast, assuming that the brain fog does, I will share my theory on the age guardrails and whether or not my theory has been disputed by the Browns.
And there you have it. The tease for the next. It's always game day in Cleveland. Evan O'Brien. He's the man. He's the producer with a plan. And he keeps this thing together, and he makes us look a lot better than we actually are. So thank you, Evan. Appreciate you. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. It's always game day in Cleveland.